recently I decided to start playing on the dance pad. So I decided to build a cool setup to play with. So here it is. Oh boy, it's bad. We got the highest quality dance pad. Was about $600. Sorry, did I say 600? I meant $6. Got a thrift store made of the finest material. Show me your moves. The Wii game, DDR Hottest Party, was not included with it. It was just this. So I feel like I may have gotten ripped off a little bit. It uses the GameCube controller adapter for the Wii U to connect to my computer. So it's pretty cool. This works alright. It shifts around a bit. I kind of want to get a nicer one. Over there I also have two PS2 dance pads under a pile of XLR cables, but I don't have a PS2 adapter, so I can't use them. So I don't even know if they're better than this. This did have a problem where the right arrow would just fire randomly, but it seems to have worked itself out. I didn't really do anything. It just sort of stopped happening. So yeah. Over here is the actual computer setup. You may be wondering why I'm not recording on the actual DSLR right here, and that's because I'm lazy. I have this desk here so I can actually use my computer as a computer still to do important stuff and not so important stuff. These monitors are also thrift store. A lot of this setup is thrift store based. This monitor was $28.50. Same with that monitor. They're both from the same thrift store. They come together. I got lucky there. All the monitors are 1080p, but they're all different. These two are the same size, actually. This one's slightly smaller. It sort of smells like mildew, so that's fun. Here's the computer. It's relatively nice. I shouldn't have an open can of soda on top of it. That's just a disaster waiting to happen. It's got a GTX 1070, which is completely overkill. I got that about 6 months ago before they got ridiculously expensive thanks to Bitcoin. Well, not 6 months ago. What am I saying? I got this like 9 months ago. Oh my god, time. This computer is just about 3 or 4 years old now. The CPU is like an old i7 from an i7 4770K, I think. Or 4790, I'm not sure. Dusty as hell. Like, I need to clean it. These fans are, everything's on top of my computer. I pretty much just use it as a shelf, which is not the best. I have an Arduino Micro, which I was originally using to control the relay for the lights, but I switched that to a Raspberry Pi so I could get easy networking. I did a really good job of soldering on these pins, as you can tell. I mean, it works, but it doesn't look good. Yeah. I also have 2 copies of different DDR games for the PS2. I don't own a PS2, so I can't really use those. Behind the computer is the power strip for the lights and the fan, which is right here, which I just use to keep player cool. It has the switch here. It sort of doesn't really do anything. If you turn it off, it won't work, but if it's on, it will work. But it's controlled. It's tapped into this relay here so that I can turn it off with voice commands and stuff, so that I don't have to get up and flip the switch every time. I did a really good job of tapping into that, and it just bent it back, and it's really good. I'm using just a bunch of extension cords to reach the lights. They're all really messily coiled up right here with some random cables interspersed. Yeah, there's an Amazon Echo Dot here. I want to hook it up to an audio cable with an audio switch so that I can switch between having the Echo come out the speakers and the computer coming out the speakers, because I'm tired of having to like just change it manually. Down here we got a more coiled up cords. All this stuff just sort of jankily bridges over to the actual desk where I got my keyboard, which is an old Razer Black Widow, and this Corsair mouse. I don't know what type this is. It's just running Windows 10. The actual Stepmania is a custom build of Stepmania, which I just added serial port stuff so that I could communicate information to the Arduino about what notes are happening. And that is plugged in with this little USB cable here. Up here is the Arduino itself. It is nailed to the wall, which is nice. The lights are just sort of tapped in awkwardly. I'm not using a power supply because they don't draw enough that I need it. I'm not using external power supply, that is. I'm using this DMX shield here to actually communicate with these lights, because these are some cheap PAR lights. Well, it doesn't send any data back, it only receives, but very nice. The whole thing is started with voice commands with the echo here, which I will show you in a sec. Once you start the command here, it talks to this thing, which is emulating one of those smart home devices that can connect. It's using this little Wi-Fi card. This is a Pi 2B, so it doesn't have built-in Wi-Fi. I don't know why there's an HDMI cable plugged into it. I don't think that goes anywhere. So that's pretty neat. Oh, there's also a 5th PAR light down here, which is for the metronome. It flashes to the time of the music. The other lights are mounted in the corners. I don't have any proper mounting hardware, so what I did was, this is drilled into a stud with very long screws so that it doesn't fall. Then the light is actually just the mounting bracket here is actually just sandwiched in between the two 2x4s. This is not sanded at all. This is actually really splintery because I don't have any sandpaper. Yeah, speakers are mounted similarly. All the cables there's more cables on this side than on this side. There's 2 cables to each light. These come down and just go along the floor behind the desk, and then they merge up with the other ones there. Everything's just duct taped down. This is like really low effort cable management. The zip tie isn't even cut short. It's just there. Most of them just have one DMX. I didn't bridge them because why? They can be, but I just didn't. These are the only 2 that are actually bridged because I didn't have a long enough DMX cable to reach from my hub there to that one out there. So this one's actually connected to this one and just goes down there. So coming out here is about 3 extension cords and my Ethernet cable. My Ethernet, because this computer does not have Wi-Fi. There's no Wi-Fi card, so the Ethernet cable comes out here, down there, and joins up and just comes up this mess of cables here. Passes this light here. This is plugged in. It follows. It just sort of is attached later because I forgot. I actually set up all this stuff before I put in the Wi-Fi and before I put up the Ethernet cable because I forgot I needed it. So that was fun. And then it comes over here, is zip tied on here with another non-cut zip tie. Where this is the final light. This one is held up by 2 little studs here. I don't have a very good stud finder, so I actually just lifted up the ceiling to locate where the studs are. Anyway, this is the only one that's actually like extended it's only like a short piece of wood. There's not like a really long one holding it out. The only reason those haven't is so they're at equal distance from the wall. So that one has it's lined up with this one. It's a whole mess. Everything's just taped up. It's really good. Ethernet cable just keeps going past the light, around the corner, over there where the router is. It's all good. Okay, anyway, let's actually show this thing off. Contrary to its looks, it does actually work. Oh god, I just realized the light strip is completely off center and also at a skew. It's not even straight. It's great. Alright, let's do this. So I named this device on the Raspberry Pi. It's actually called DDR. And that's spelled D-E-E space D-E-E space A-R-E because that's the best way I could get this thing to recognize that letters. Yeah. Anyway, Alexa, turn on DDR.
Okay.
So it turns on the lights, it boots up the game. And also turned on this fan, which is clicking, which is really nice. I'm going to turn this off. Yeah, it's a really good fan. Also thrift store, as you can tell by this nice little price tag. So it boots the game. The game, for some reason, is taking forever to boot lately. I don't know why. It might have the fact that it's loading up like 9 gigs of anime trash, but yeah. So each light is, these are just style lights that have like just individual LEDs. They're not like multicolor LEDs. They're very cheap. But yeah, they're all on. They whine like crazy, but luckily when the music's playing loud, and their fans are super loud, but luckily when this is blasting, you can't really hear it. They also whine when they're on power. So if you actually mute the audio, you can hear the music in the whining of the lights. It's pretty good. Anyway, let's put on a song. The lights have several different functions. Right now they're in menu mode, which means they're all just on. There's one back there. They're all just on white. Same here, this one's just pulsing. Yeah, turn this down. Just mute that. They're all just pulsing, and they'll stay like that actually until I start a song, in which case they will all turn blue. They'll play a little animation down here, and these will just fade in and out. This is game mode, which means they're waiting. These are pulsing to the metronome. So the way these are mapped is a little interesting. So these are just in order here. Like these strips, it's divided up. The two LEDs on either side are flashing to the metronome, similar to that light down there. That's actually replicating a video I saw where some guy did something similar. But he wasn't actually tapped into the game. He was just taking the sim file and reading it and parsing it manually. It wasn't actually getting data from the game. So it just pulses the light every time an arrow's hit. This arrow here is that light. The down arrow is the light in the back. The up arrow is that light. The right arrow is that one. So yeah, and those are just in order. Their colors are arbitrary. They're not actually reading the colors of the arrow. That would be cool, but whatever. They are quite bright. With this light on, you can't really tell how much they flash. I'm not bothered by it, but some people are. When a hold note is happening, it actually changes every light to the color of the hold. So yeah, that's pretty neat. You'll see that in the demo at the end of this. Jumps are kind of broken on this, specifically. On these, they work fine. For some reason, sometimes it doesn't fire both the panels. So yeah, that's neat. When you fail the song, it flashes everything red. Same sort of animation as the beginning. It's very menacing when all the lights are off, because it plays the sound effect and then just red. Oh, there's a bug where this light will stay on. If it was flashing when you lose or win, that just stays on. So that's cool. As you can see, this is really well put together. Anyway, that's the thing. So let's Alexa, turn off DDR.
Okay.
And that will close the game, shut off all the lights, and pretty much just wrap everything up. So I can go from looking at memes to playing DDR in like seconds. The future's now, guys. Yeah, so that's pretty much the gist of it. It's horribly janky and probably should be removed. But, you know, it's fun. Anyway, that's all. Here's a demo of the actual thing in action with a few songs. Enjoy.
いよと怒る君、これでもやれるだけ飛ばしてきたんだよ。心が体を追い越してきたんだよ。君の髪は一人だけで胸が痛いよ。同じ時を吸い込んで話したくないよ。遥か昔から知るその声に生まれて初めて何を言えばいい。君の全然前世から僕は君を探し始めたよ。その不器用な笑い方をめがけてやって